it is going to be a very tough first 20 minutes. Both sets of lads know how important that this result is to them, and they'll certainly be all fired up to try and take an early advantage in the match.
So there was the Great Britain team. Just the one change from the second test. Alan Tate, the fullback, has come in, and there's the Kiwi side. Positional changes. Tony Kemp at fullback today, and Darryl Williams moving into the centres. And of course, Asini Faimalo starts this test match, although he did have a game in the second test replacing Adrian Shelford, but pretty much the same team.
It appears that they decided not to do the haka, Grant.
That's right.
Hopefully, well, the haka is the idea of psyching each other up to go into battle.
So the game starts, and Tony Kemp picks it up and gives it away to Gary Mercer, and the ball is slippery, and I think we're going to see a fair bit of that today. So Great Britain have it immediately, with Gary Mercer losing it. Mike Gregory has it now for Great Britain. So the Kiwis make an early error as Paul Hume now takes it out. Here it is with Edwards. He's a danger man. Goodway, who had such a good game in the second test, you remember, with his 2 tries. He's a Wigan player. So Great Britain making a good start early on. Edwards with the kick. Early pressure on Kemp. Ball loose. Been won by Great Britain. Carry on. And Phil Ford drops the pass. And I think he knocked it on. He did knock it on. Well, the Kiwis a little lucky to escape there. The high kick was a good one. And the Great Britain got possession back, but Ford made the error.
He did. It was unfortunate for Gary Mercer in the first tackle of the game in losing the ball. Put the Kiwis under pressure inside their own 22. They certainly can't afford to stay in their own 22, as that replay shows, and Ford dropping the ball.
So that was fortunate for the Kiwis, because Great Britain probably had another 6 to play with there, but from the scrum there's been a penalty awarded to New Zealand. And now Darryl Williams will kick it for touch. Williams today playing in the centres, a position he's not unfamiliar with, having played a fair bit in the centres for Manly in the Sydney competition. So now the Kiwis get a chance to settle down. They get the ball back, about 10 metres on their own side of halfway. Here comes Brent Toddle. Do a lot of running today, I'm sure. Taken heavily by Skerritt. Here comes Asini Faimalo. Good run from him. Dwayne Mann is the dummy half. Early kick coming here, and that's not surprising. Made by Kemp, and it's not a bad kick either. This is Alan Tate, the fullback, in his in-goal area. The Kiwis closing him down quickly, and good tackling here, driving him back over the line. Are they? No, he's just managed to stay on the field of play, and Ford will take it out from dummy half. So good tactics from the Kiwis.
That's where they need to play the game, Grant, down there with this water coming down, the rain coming down. They're certainly going to make their job a lot easier if they can keep them in the 22.
2 minutes gone in the game, no scorers yet. Andy Platt, who had such a good game in the second test, not normally a prop forward, but he played so well there, and now the Kiwis have got themselves offside. Goodway's going to take it and take off. Taken in a head-high tackle by Kurt Sorensen. Darryl Williams is the peacemaker. But Kurt Sorensen, I think, will get hauled out here for a head-high tackle. And he gets 10 minutes.
He's gone back over. It certainly was high. Another bad start for the Kiwis, but it's a discipline they've got to look for to maintain the pressure, to keep them under pressure in their own half if they can help it. That certainly doesn't help.
So Paul Lachlan has put it into touch. And now Paul Hume up to Platt. Good strong tackle by Sam Stewart, number 12. The dummy half is David Hume. Skerritt, this in fact is Powell. Pretty feeble sort of a run. Very tentative looking run by Roy Powell. Just out from the quarter line. The Kiwis down to 12 men, and hello, penalty. Not allowing the player to play the ball. And so now Great Britain have a chance to cash in, really, on the fact that the Kiwis are down to 12 men already. He doesn't stand any nonsense, this fellow Greg McCallum.
I can only hope, as far as the Kiwis are concerned, Grant, that he is consistent. I certainly know from the second test it was his consistency that I was certainly worried about, where he penalised the Kiwis for things that he allowed the Great Britain side to get away with. Okay, those two incidences there with Kurt, and now with holding down Brent Todd, it certainly made the job a lot more difficult.
Oh, he's pushed it to the right, so the Kiwis breathe again. No goal from Paul Lachlan, and it remains at 0-0 after just 4 minutes play. So we won't see Kurt Sorensen back on till about 12 minutes in. Now Williams, ball already very greasy. This is Powell, Roy Powell from Leeds, just on the Kiwi side of halfway. Paul Hume, number 9. Here's Edwards up to Mike Gregory, the captain. Paul Hume again. Edwards. Skerritt is well taken. Good solid tackling there.
That's good defence, that, Grant. They've played the last 3 tackles on the halfway line. Good defence by the Kiwis. Again, in 4 tackles, they've made 2 yards.
There's a Kiwi down, you can see to the left. And it's Hugh McGann, the captain. As Tony Kemp has it. Takes on O'Fire. And the tackle made. McGann still being attended to. Away on the other half of the field as Brent Todd thumps it up. And this time the penalty goes to the Kiwis, some relief.
Indeed, he started off anyway. He's certainly going to mess about, and he is consistent in that respect. So it's good for the game that Hugh McGann doesn't look to be too well at all, unfortunately, for the Kiwis again.
Took a nasty knock. I didn't exactly see the incident. In goes Todd again. A lot of work falling to Brent Todd on this tour to just run it straight up. Here's Asini Faimalo, who's always seems to have the ability to get through the first or the second tackle. He's a very strong player. Now Sam Stewart's going to have a run. McGann is back. He'll still have a bit of a break, I think, as Freeman does the kicking. Down to Ford. Has some room to move here, Phil Ford. It runs straight into Williams and Mercer. And it's good to report that Hugh McGann is A-OK again. There's the little halfback David Hume, who did so well in the second test in upsetting Gary Freeman. And Freeman himself admitted that he really let Hume get to him.
No, I didn't think he was okay. He didn't look right when he stood up before. He's certainly taken another knock, Hugh McGann. Back to the left of the photo, back to the left of the picture, he's not looking too well at all.
Kick down to Kemp. Once again making sure that he doesn't knock it on by getting his feet to it first. Pretty solid tackling there from Great Britain, and the Kiwis again down deep inside their own territory. Taken away by Mercer. 8 minutes gone. Out to Faimalo.
Kiwis, all they have to do is try and keep the ball, play for the ball, play their 6 tackles out, and try and use up the clock until Kurt Sorensen can get back on the field.
Hugh McGann is standing fairly wide at the moment. That's the kick from Kelly Shelford. It's a good one too. Tate and Ford going back. Kiwis have closed them down well. Look at that. One underneath, and McGann is underneath. And Mercer over the top. So Hugh McGann might be just playing on memory a bit at the moment. Let's hope he can just clear that head.
He's an old campaigner, Hugh. He certainly knows what's required from him. And as the Kiwi captain, he would certainly stay out there until such time he feels that he can't carry on.
Here's Mike Gregory. Lachlan threatening to get through, but the tackle was made just 5 metres on the Great Britain side of halfway. No score. 9 minutes gone. Here's Edwards away. Here's trouble. He's got O'Fire in support. First try of the game, scored by Martin O'Fire. But once again, it was Sean Edwards, a real danger man for the Kiwis. And once you could see O'Fire looming inside, it was all over, really. And Martin O'Fire gets the first try.
He certainly has got the pace, Grant. Any time that the Great Britain side even make a hint of breaking the defensive line, then he's always sniffing them. I guess that's why he's rated so well in the World of Rugby League today. Going back to the replay, Sean Edwards does well. He gets between both the two halfbacks, I think they are, splits them. He draws the fullback well. Tony Kemp has got no option but to go with Sean Edwards, and it's an easy pass back into Martin O'Fire.
Here's Lachlan adding the extra 2. So Great Britain 6 points ahead. And we've had now 9 minutes play, in fact, 9 minutes or just on 10 minutes. So the Kiwis still have another couple of minutes to go with Kurt Sorensen off the field. That wouldn't have helped the cause much.
It certainly doesn't. In that situation, I think Tony Kemp had no option but to take out Sean Edwards. It was either Sean Edwards or Martin O'Fire who was going to score. Unfortunately, he couldn't knock the ball on.
So setback for the Kiwis. Here's Phil Ford. Now the Kiwis have to fight back. Play right on the quarter line. Taken over by Phil Hume to Gregory. Martin O'Fire now 7 tries, and this is just his 10th test match. Prolific try scorer. It's only a question really whether he'd hang on to the pass, because he was always going to have the pace. Now Edwards up to Platt. Better tackling. Kiwis haven't had a lot of the ball in recent times. Here comes the kick from Lachlan. Down the centre of the field this time. Kemp, good hands from him. Kevin Hero hasn't been in the game yet out on the right wing side. Now Dean Bell. And offside against Great Britain.
Again, if the Kiwis can control the ball and for another 2 or 3 minutes until Kurt Sorensen can get back on, it'll certainly make their task a lot easier. But at the moment, with the mistakes that they are bringing into their game, undisciplined acts, they need to try and control the game a lot better than they are at the moment.
So the Kiwis have possession, 15 metres out from the 22. Todd takes it up. Bang. Good run again by Brent Todd, and one of the Great Britain players is down. Could be...
it's Paul Hume.
Paul Hume, yes it is. So now Freeman up to Shelford. Kiwi spinning it wide. Dean Bell, he's got plenty of pace too. Bell through, up to Ero. And a good tackle made on Ero by Andy Goodway. But what a nice break by Dean Bell, and the Kiwis spun it wide for the first time in the game.
Certainly looked impressive when they did start throwing the ball around. Let's hope they can maintain it. Sammy Stewart back. And along the wing, and Dean sold the dummy and had the speed to get away from Paul Lachlan. Paul Lachlan certainly wasn't trying too hard in his attempt to take Dean Bell down.
So Great Britain won the scrum, and they have possession inside the 22. Looks like Hugh McGann's back to full fitness. He made a good driving tackle there, number 13. Kurt Sorensen waiting to come onto the field. Ball lost, and the Kiwis come up with it in the form of Dwayne Mann. And so here's a chance for the Kiwis, and deep inside Great Britain territory now. Stewart plays it out to Freeman. Here comes Faimalo, and Sorensen is back. So the Kiwis are restored. Todd, another good run by Brent Todd. He's making ground every time he takes the ball up. There's Sorensen. He wants to get his hands on the ball. He'll have a charge here. 10 metres out from the line. Now Mann up to Freeman. Looks for Sam Stewart, coming now to the left. Stewart struggling up to within 2 or 3 metres of the line. Last tackle. Now Mann, Freeman to Shelford. Little nudge through from Shelford. And it could go anywhere. And Great Britain have it right on the goal line. So Martin O'Fire to play it. He's the try scorer, 6 points to nil. This is Skerritt.
That's where the Kiwis need to play the game in there. They don't have to run the length of the park to score from there.
Kurt Sorensen will be well aware of the fact that the try was scored when he wasn't there. He'll want to make amends, I'm sure.
Well, he certainly will want to show that he can do the job.
Look for the kick here from Lachlan. Bumps it straight down the middle. Kemp waits. 10 metres on his own side of halfway. Tony Kemp had a very good game against Widnes in the fullback position and has been retained here for the test. Played a bit of football at fullback for the Newcastle Knights. Look at Brent Todd. Another good 10-metre run from him. He's really working his heart out at the start of this game. Now Sam Stewart. Taken in the tackle of Paul Newlove. Well, that's gone nowhere in particular. Darryl Williams gets it in the end. Five metres on the Great Britain side of halfway. 6 points to nil. Great Britain lead. Here's Freeman. Gave it back to Mann. Taimalo came charging through, but Mann couldn't release it. Now the last tackle. Sorensen away to Freeman. Little kick will come here. Good nudge ahead by Gary Freeman. Down to Ford. Chased by Freeman and McGann. And Bell goes in to give them assistance. And Phil Ford has dumped 3 metres from his own line.
Huey's recovered real well. He's been involved in the last 5 tackles.
Well, that's the sort of tackling we saw from Dwayne Mann in the first test. Was missing in the second. Good defence here from the Kiwis. Great Britain have made very little progress, and they're running out of tackles here. Now Gregory. Last tackle. They've made about 15 metres. So the kick will come. Back to Lachlan. Not a bad nudge either. Kemp has it. Good run here from Tony Kemp. He's still going. Powell had to make the tackle again. Now Todd. Back to Williams. Here's Shelford. Uh-oh, he'll have to dive on it. Oh, there's trouble here. O'Fire against Shelford. And I reckon Shelford got his hand on it first. And probably knocked it on. What a good effort. Well, the Kiwis lucky to get out of that one. They're not exactly out of it yet. Now, what have we got here? A penalty, is it?
Yeah, it's an offside.
Offside.
With Kelly touched the ball first. There. I think it was Hugh McGann that got back and kicked the ball dead.
Looked like he touched it over the line, didn't it?
Well, he did, but he was still offside. I think it was Huey that got back to put the ball into touch.
Well, I suppose the Kiwi attitude there is 2 is better than 4 or even 6.
Yes, indeed. I guess that would be the makeup of any international squad at the moment. But the mistake came right back on the Kiwis' own half, on the halfway line. They were half asleep. For some reason, someone decided to throw a ball to a back line that wasn't prepared for the ball or wasn't ready for the ball. The ball went loose. Martin O'Fire came through with it, put his boot to it, and the Kiwis now are looking at Paul Lachlan taking a shot at goal.
One out of 2 so far, Lachlan. No goal then. 6 points to nil. And 17 minutes gone in the first half. So the Kiwis lucky to escape that. Darryl Williams now from the quarter line. That's a good solid kick downfield. Down as far as the Great Britain captain Mike Gregory. And well taken by McGann, who's now fully recovered from that heavy knock that he took early on. And here's the kick for Great Britain by David Hume. And it's a good one. Kicked it very early in the tackle count that time, just the second tackle.
I think in these conditions that they are playing in today, Grant, I think it's a good idea that you get the ball, kick on the second or the third. Try and force the opposition back into their own 22 if you can, rather than try and play football midfield.
Here's McGann. Good run again by Hugh McGann. He's giving it plenty. Kiwis down by 6 points to 0. Todd hands it off to Mann. Back to Freeman. By Marlowe. Again to McGann. Pops it up to Mann. Kiwis keeping it alive. Not making a lot of progress though. Now Freeman. Here's Kurt Sorensen. That's a good run. Best effort from Kurt Sorensen in the match. Mann up to Freeman. Tate going across. Kiwis rather waiting for Tate to bring it up.
It's important in this game, Grant, that their chase is a good one. The kick is only part of the game, and if you can get a good chase up there, a good line with half a dozen players in it, then it makes it a lot easier or a lot harder for the attacking side to get out of their 22.
Sorensen in over the top again, make sure of it. Kelvin Skerritt, the big mean man from Bradford Northern. Now Platt, into the gap goes Lachlan, and a good tackle by Bell. Starting to look a bit promising there for Great Britain, but Dean Bell got across and made a good tackle. Now Edwards, danger man when he starts to run like that, puts Skerritt into the gap. Here's Powell. Newlove in the clear. O'Fire, David Hume, here's Tate, and Tate will go in at the corner.
That's good football.
That's a wonderful try by Great Britain.
It is. That was great football. That was the game. That's what the game's all about, Grant. Support, carry the ball, support. Okay, unfortunately for the Kiwis, they're another 4 points down, but as far as Great Britain is concerned, that was a tremendous try.
Finished off by Alan Tate, but really it all started here with this little half break that Skerritt was able to make, and then Great Britain had numbers out to the right. It was a good run in the end by Newlove, and he got through quite a few tackles, as you can see. This is the fellow who's only 17 years of age. O'Fire looked pretty dangerous there, but Dean Bell made a good tackle. And then David Hume was in it again, and Tate, who's very, very fast, was able to get through in the despairing tackle of Gary Freeman to score an excellent try. Just snuck out to the right, so the goal kicking has not been of a great standard, but we didn't expect it would be in these conditions. But 10 points to 0, Kiwis 2 tries down already, and we're just halfway through the first half. So really now, Kevin, the Kiwis are going to get back into it.
A tackle like that for Martin O'Fire to be able to stand up and turn the ball back to David Hume, and then the ever-present
Alan Tate.
The ever-present Tate coming in and finishing it off. It was a good try.
So now play resumes. Haven't been too many mistakes made, even though the ball's been slippery. Here's Skerritt again. He was going to tackle this big bloke. And they do. By Marlowe's come up with the ball. But the referee's penalised him. Shouldn't have looked so guilty. He looked really guilty when he came up with it, didn't he?
He should have given the ball back to him.
So Lachlan.
Kelvin Skerritt, one big lad. He causes everyone all sorts of problems over here in the game, in the club matches.
Here's Roy Powell. Well and truly taken down by Kurt Sorensen. Away goes Edwards. He's a real danger man, Sean Edwards. Still only 23 years of age. It seems like he's been around for years. Well, he has, I suppose. He's been playing professionally for 6 or 7 years.
Signed when he was 16.
Here he is, number 6, Sean Edwards, kicking for O'Fire, waiting for Kemp. Oh, big collision, and Kevin Hero is offside. I think that's the ruling.
It is. Surely he must have known he was in front of Tony Kemp when he went up for the ball. And he's put the Kiwis under pressure again. Another attempted kick at goal will certainly come from Paul Lachlan.
Quite a collision here.
It was a good kick by Sean Edwards. Tony Kemp, in the challenge of Martin O'Fire, managed to get a piece of the ball, and then Kevin Iro, coming back onside, took the ball up, picked the ball up in an offside position. He's been around the professional game long enough. He's a good, experienced young lad, Kevin, to know that unfortunately you're not allowed to do that. Martin O'Fire doesn't look too good at all. Mind you, I'm not saying he looked nice before, but he took a bang in it. I think he'd be okay.
The real pin-up boy in rugby league here in Great Britain.
The Kiwis could have done with him taking a hospital stretcher, but unfortunately, with the Kiwis, they now have to put up with him for the rest of the game.
So Paul Lachlan has a chance here, although his goal kicking hasn't been great yet. This one is not terribly difficult. 10 points to 0 the score. 25 minutes now gone in the first half. Well, he's missed again. Darryl Williams has it. Offloads to Mann. And nicely brought out by the Kiwis. Almost to the quarter line. Mann to play it to Mercer. Here's Todd. Bumps flat out of the road. So the Kiwis still in the game, mainly because Lachlan hasn't been able to land the goals. Had he landed at least a couple more, Kiwis would have been looking at a deficit of 14 odd points. They've got themselves a penalty here.
Sammy Stewart's had a good tour. All the matches I've seen Sammy perform, and he certainly has performed really well. A good, strong workhorse in defence, and as far as taking the ball up, he's always been there to share the responsibility of carrying the ball.
Now Mann plays it, gives it to Freeman. Here's Todd again. Right on the halfway line. Mann looking for McGann, flipped it up. Freeman was charged, at least Kemp was charging in, but the pass was a bit low. And the Kiwis once again concede possession. Now Gregory up to Edwards. Partially charged by, well, not partially charged, it was well charged, but here's Lachlan. And O'Fire is enveloped that time. But unlucky there, the Kiwis. McGann made a good charge down, but they couldn't regain the ball. Here's Gregory. Ball lost, and the Kiwis have it. Sorensen whips it out to McGann. Here's Freeman. Faimalo ranging a bit wider this time. Great Britain defence holding pretty well, though. The Kiwis haven't had too many clean breaks so far in the game. Here's Freeman. Up to Shelford. Shelford again. Head-high tackle made by Newlove. Now, if he's consistent, Newlove might get to 10 minutes here. Kurt Sorensen got 10.
No, he's definitely not consistent.
He's not consistent.
Well, not in that capacity anyway. Tremendous young lad, that, considering he's 17 and he has played first division football for a number of years now. As far as Great Britain's prospects are concerned, at him they certainly have got a budding young star.
Paul Newlove from Featherston Rovers. Now the Kiwis have Faimalo in possession. He'll run all day.
Those are the players, those are the holes, or the men in the defensive line. Forwards like Yassini should be running at the halfbacks, rather than running at the props and expecting to barge away through the props. Work on the halfbacks.
Here's Stewart up to Kurt Sorensen. 18 metres out from the line. Now Mann feeds it up to Shelford. Shelford lobs it back in. This is not a bad kick. Could go anywhere here. Finally, the catch was made by Alan Tate, the fullback. Forward chased across field by Mercer. Hugh McGann went down again, incidentally. He's got up. He's taken some big knocks already in this game.
Huey, the true professional that Huey is, he'll stay there till the end. Come hell or high water.
10 points to 0 then. Great Britain lead. About 11 minutes out from half time. Here's Andy Platt. Great Britain will be looking to kick here shortly. Edwards has it. Back to Tate. Tate kicking it down towards Kemp. Just on the Great Britain side of halfway. Tony Kemp to play it now to Williams. Oh, Gary Mercer wasn't sure of where it was, and Dean Bell had to tidy up. That's untidy. The pass went to Gary Mercer, and he had no idea that it was coming his way. Bell plays it now to Mann. Here's Freeman. Up to Shelford. Mercer. And Shelford took a pass that he was a bit lucky to hang on to, I think.
He certainly wasn't ready for the ball. I think Gary probably could have taken it in a yard or two more. That's what they need to do as far as the Kiwis are concerned. They're 10 points behind. They need to try and create a bit more when they've got the ball.
Well, that's a bad pass. Now Freeman whips it out to Todd. Here's Sorensen. Now Shelford. By Marlowe. Oh, the pass has gone astray again. Last tackle on the Kiwis. Back to Kemp. And Kemp kicks it straight down to Tate. And that's a good tackle. Good solid stuff. Hugh McGann with assistance from one or two others. Away goes Platt. Oh, good run here by Andy Platt. A couple of Kiwis missing tackles. Now Edwards. This is where he's dangerous. And he gets just a couple of yards in which to move. Gregory. 10 points to 0. Tries to O'Fire and Tate. Lovely take by Tony Kemp. Now he's got Kevin Ero with him. He's going to try going down the middle. This is a good run.
Unfortunately, he didn't have anyone to pass off to.
Here's Kelly Shelford. Back to Tate. Back to Brent Todd at least. Sam Stewart calls for it.
What the Kiwis need to do, again at this time, try and do a bit more with the ball and start backing up. In the first test, they certainly did it well in the match against Hull and the match against Widnes. They managed to back up, they managed to unload the ball. They were doing it in 3s and 4s, and it looked good. Well, they haven't quite got around to it at the moment.
Looks like the Kiwis will get a penalty here. Meantime, there's a player out of shot who's down. I think it might be Newlove, the centre. And he looks to be in real pain.
He certainly does.
There he is. Looks like an ankle injury. So the Kiwis now have a chance to press home this advantage. They get the ball inside the 22. And away goes Brent Todd again. Great Britain are used to playing with just 12 men. Of course, they went through most of the second test with only 12. Here's Stewart looking for Freeman. Freeman lobs the kick in. O'Fire gets a hold of it.
I'll take it, Martin O'Fire. He had Kevin Iro looming down on him from the kick. And he took the ball well.
It's Andy Goodway. Haven't seen much of him so far in the match. He's been battling away. Can be quite a spectacular player.
He's one of those players that you can't forget that he's on the park, because he'll pop up any time and he'll slay you.
Played by Skerritt. Here comes the kick again. Tate doing some kicking now. Back towards Zero. Gets the ball safely into his hands.
The guy that's just replaced Paul Newlove is probably just as dangerous as the rest of the lads that are out there. Get on it.
Another six. Another six for the Kiwis.
Joe Lydon has just replaced Paul Newlove in the centres.
Vastly experienced player, Joe Lydon. He's going to make his mark straight away. He's made a couple of good tackles. There he is, number 14. Another Wigan player, so they're all over the park. Here's Mann, up to Freeman. Hughes will look good when they've spun it wide. Here's Bell. Bell looking to get Kemp into the gap, but just couldn't quite slip it through. Now Williams, up to Shelford. Last tackle on the Kiwis. Only 5 metres on Great Britain side of halfway. Freeman will take the first pass like he normally does. Gave it away to Stewart. Freeman doubling. Will need to unload, but Sorensen couldn't take the pass.
It was certainly a hurried pass from Gary Freeman.
Tate has taken it, a good tackle by McGann. 6 minutes left in the first half. Here's Skerritt. Gary Mercer jumping in, trying to dislodge the ball from Kelvin Skerritt. Taken up by Torhume. Little kick and chase from Edwards. This is where he's able to be so innovative.
Great Britain are doing something with the ball in the form of that. Small chips, big bombs, and they are causing New Zealand to panic a bit.
Another driving tackle by McGann. Ball played quickly. It's got to be kicked because it was the last tackle. Well, it doesn't have to be, but it's probably the best policy. Down to Kemp. Tony Kemp's done nothing wrong so far. Giving Gary Mercer a run. And away goes Mercer. He'll step back and field. Whoops, he slipped over. Pretty slippery. Good play by Kemp and Mercer. Now Stewart. Away to Freeman. Kurt Sorensen calls for it. Bang. Straight at Mike Gregory. Kiwis transfer it quickly here, can they? Yes, they have. Now Bell. Dean Bell chased by Lachlan, who hasn't got the pace of Bell. This is better from the Kiwis. They really need to score before half-time if they can. Popped up, and not a good pass from Sorensen, but they might have been able to rescue it. Dwayne Mann here. Up to Stewart. Away goes Sam Stewart. Looking to work it back, gets it to Shelford. Shelford away. Oh, good try, Kelly Shelford. Boy, did the Kiwis need that one. Alan Tate can't tackle for nuts, and Kelly Shelford is in under the bar.
It certainly is the tonic that the Kiwis needed to have forced Great Britain back into their own half so many times, and have done something stupid and got kicked right back into their own half. Was a bit disheartening for them. And I could see that they were starting to feel the pressure, but they'll be quite happy after that try by Kelly Shelford. He certainly had to beat Tate. Tate's defence is normally pretty good, but on the wet surface that is out there, Kelly with the step that he's got off his right foot, he's certainly got a good ball from Sam Stewart, and he beat Alan Tate from 5 yards out easy. Went in around the back under the sticks.
Already, Kevin, they needed that just before half-time. If it had been 10-0 at half-time, psychologically it would have been tough for the Kiwis, but Shelford now attempting to make it 10-6, and that reads a lot better. It will read a lot better once it's done.
It certainly does, Grant. To go in 10 points behind in any match, let alone an international, is a problem for the side that's trailing.
So Shelford completes the work, converting his own try. 10 points to 6. Tate looked a little suspect in the witness game. Remember Mercer ran around him pretty easily, didn't he? Remember that?
Yes, Alan's been troubled with hamstring problems, but he certainly, as Sammy got the ball up to Kelly Shelford, in a half side step, I suppose you could call it. He managed to get away from Tate and get around under the post, no problems at all. That's probably the first time we've seen anything of Kelly Shelford since the first test. He certainly destroyed the Great Britain back line in the first test. And that's the first time he's come into it since the second, and now this one.
Boy, Kurt Sorensen's fired up. That was a beaut fend. Sent David Hume backwards in a big hurry. Here's Faimalo. The Kiwis suddenly look better in the last 10 minutes or so. 2 minutes out from the break. Here's Todd. Oh, he's lost it, spilled it. Now Lachlan. So now the Kiwis have to withstand this last challenge from Great Britain as O'Fire runs it out.
Martin certainly not the most courageous player about, but give him half a gap and he's gone. He's certainly dangerous with the ball.
So Skerritt in possession. Well, it goes to David Hume. Lachlan, and a good tackle made there, and the Kiwis come away with it. And Sam Stewart. So that's an important tackle, an important lost ball for Great Britain. They were about to mount an assault, probably would have been a high bomb. As McGann shifts it away, quickly out to Williams. Williams looking for Mercer, who's a long way away. Ball knocked down, and Williams has it back. But he was in fact holding forward and is penalised for doing so.
It's one of those situations where he was holding him and him was holding he. I thought it was unfortunate.
Time is virtually up. Mike Gregory might be thinking of something else here. Let's have another quick look at this. As you can see, Williams was looking for Mercer, who was a long way out. And there it is. They're really both of them hanging on.
Again, yeah. I said it was he holding him and him holding he. So I thought the Kiwis were unlucky. They could certainly have gone in 10-6 behind the Kiwis with, admittedly, Paul hasn't kicked very well at the moment. Well, the previous 4 attempts that he's had at goal, he certainly hasn't been successful, but knowing the nature and the steadiness that this kid can kick, he's liable to kick this one before half-time.
Distance hasn't been a problem so far for Lachlan. It's been direction.
Certainly a very good kicker of the ball on his day.
No, he's dragged that away to the left as well. Brought out by Bell. Dean Bell makes a clean break. And there goes the siren to indicate the end of the first half, and it's been very, very interesting. Great Britain ran out to a 10-0 lead after O'Fire had scored a try that Lachlan converted, and then Tate scored a try that wasn't converted. Lachlan's missed a lot of kicks. It was 10-0, and Kelly Shelford struck back, scored a try which he converted, 10 points to 6. And we'll be back to analyse the first half after this commercial break.
I just hope that they can get their act together. They seem to be coming back a little bit into the game, but they need to sort out who's going to do what. I think Assini's got to start playing a little bit more effective role in the go forward, and perhaps Iro should come off his wing a little bit more, you know, if the ball's not going to get out there.
So you think perhaps that in the conditions they should be looking to play it more up the middle through the forwards?
Well, if they make good yardage, they were making good yardage, but they're just trying to push the ball a little bit too much, and it's not very effective at the moment. You know, just play the percentage game, make the good yardage and kick, you know, and then just wait for the breaks to come.
All right, a very gloomy afternoon at Central Park in Wigan, and the second 40 minutes about to start. It's 10-6 to Great Britain over the Kiwis. The Kiwis in the second half from left to right, as we now rejoin Grant Nisbet and Kevin Tumley.
Welcome back then to Central Park, and the second half is just underway, and Kelly Shelford restarts for the Kiwis, down by 4 at half-time, and it's going to be the Great Britain captain Mike Gregory to bring it out. So 10 points to 6 at the break, 2 tries to 1. The Kiwis coming back into it in the last 10 minutes or so of that first half, and needing to. The lights of the stadium shining brightly on this gloomy day here in Wigan.
That's where the Kiwis need to keep them for the next 40 minutes if they can. They put them under pressure inside their own 22, get the ball back in there, and they only have to run 20 yards.
Now Edwards. Back to Tate. Not a very big kick this time. Kemp gets time to field it inside Great Britain territory this time, and gets almost through a tackle. Good run again by Tony Kemp, who's had another strong game, following on from the Widnes performance. Dean Bell this time with possession. So this is a good start for the Kiwis, and early in the second half they have possession. They have a few tackles here, and Brent Todd runs it up.
I think that could do with taking the ball a bit wider. Grant, for my likings, they're probably playing a bit too close, and they're not causing the Great Britain defence any problems at all.
Sean Edwards was able to read that move where Gary Freeman doubled round. Here's Faimalo almost getting into the gap. Kurt Sorensen went through, but he wasn't able to take the pass. Here's Shelford then, nudging ahead. Down to Tate. Tate chased by Freeman and by Shelford.
It was a poor kick by Kelly Shelford. I thought you could have done a lot more with that ball. The Kiwis again have got Great Britain still inside their 22. That's a second tackle.
Good solid run that time by Andy Platt. He'll play it to Edwards. As Mike Gregory, the Great Britain captain, taken solidly.
Solid tackle, great tackle by Brent Todd.
Here's Roy Powell. He doesn't always make a lot of ground when he goes, but he just about offloaded there. Last tackle. Joe Lydon's going to do the kicking this time. Makes a nice little sidestep. But he was kicking rather off balance, and he put it straight down to Kemp. And Lydon was up there to make a good tackle. He's a quality player. He's been injured quite a bit of this season. Here goes Darryl Williams. 10 points to 6. 2 minutes into the second half. Now Todd. Here's Lydon again, number 14. Newlove was the player who left the field with an ankle injury, it would seem. Lydon got across to make another one. Goodness me, he's all over the place at the moment. Here comes Hugh McGann.
That's 4 tackles. Whether the Kiwis' plan is to keep the ball close around the rucks and play yardage football, it appears that way. But I think they could put Great Britain under more pressure by sending the ball a bit wider.
Oh boy, that was a pass from Ford across to Tate, which could have gone all wrong for Britain. Just remember that the ball is a bit slippery, and Ford didn't really want to get a hold of it. He wanted to get rid of it. Probably why. Look at that.
The Kiwis can maintain the pressure down there and keep up the tackling that they are putting in at the moment. They're only 4 points down, and there's still 37 minutes to go.
Now Edwards looking for Powell. Good solid player, Roy Powell. Doesn't do anything spectacular. Makes his tackles. Hangs onto the ball all right. Andy Platt's had another pretty useful game. Last tackle here. Back to Lydon. Chased by McGann, who almost charges again. Ball coming down to Kevin Ero. Hasn't done a lot so far in the game. Hasn't been able to get the big legs pumping.
We haven't seen a lot of Kevin in the second test or this one, unfortunately for Kevin, and again for the Kiwis. He certainly is a player that has a lot to offer, but not if he's not involved in the game.
5 metres on the Kiwi side of halfway. Here's Todd running it out wide.
And that's better control of the ball. They've had 4 tackles and they've still got control of the ball. They're on the halfway line. The kick will come. Not a very good kick, but at least they've got Great Britain back inside their own 22 if they can knock them down.
So Ford plays it out to Tate. Great Britain in possession. They lead by 10 points to 6. Now Mike Gregory. Solid tackle again by Dwayne Mann. Here's Skerritt. Gave it away to O'Fire. Kick and chase from O'Fire. Could be dangerous here. Freeman going across, and a good save by Gary Freeman. O'Fire's got the legs on everyone, but he just couldn't keep the ball in a straight line. And that enabled Gary Freeman to get back and make a save for the Kiwis.
So he's a very good football player as well. He certainly controlled the ball well. He took it well, knowing that he didn't have the ability to get around Kevin Edel. He just put it through to the ground, which is good tactics in this game. Controlled the ball, he kept it in well, and Gary had to come back and cut it down.
Referee McCallum wants the scrum set again. Great Britain just 15 metres short of the Kiwi line here. Ball smuggled away to Hume, gave it away to O'Fire. Still alive through Powell. Tricky series of moves by Great Britain. Now Gregory. Away to David Hume.
This guy hasn't been in the game a great deal at all. Andy Goodway.
Here's Platt. Oh, he's in the gap. Andy Platt. 5 metres short of the Kiwi line. Trouble here for the Kiwis. Here's David Hume. Mike Gregory. Good all-enveloping tackle by Kevin Ero. That had to be made front on. He couldn't allow Gregory to let the ball go. David Hume drills it away in behind the Kiwis. And it's brought out nicely by Darryl Williams.
It was well taken by Darryl Williams. He was under pressure. He had a man coming on him. Took the low ball, picked it up and made 6 yards.
Good battling run again by Gary Mercer.
That's a second tackle. They could afford to probably run in one more, maybe even two at the most, and then get the ball down the park. They certainly don't want to be playing football in their own 22.
So they're running it up towards the quarter line. The kicks have got to come shortly. Sam Stewart's going to take up for another run. Comes to Kelly Shelford. A little one inside. It's going to bounce. It does. Freeman onto it. No. And yes, the Kiwis have it. Hume again.
Good kick. They were looking for the big kick, Great Britain.
Knocked on by Dwayne Mann. It was kicked through in the tackle, and he couldn't hang on to the slippery ball.
Control the ball. That was the first play of the ball. They had another 5 to come. They were on a halfway line, and all he had to do was make sure he had possession.
Away goes David Hume. Now forward again. Crowd on the far side booing for some reason. Here's Joe Lydon up to Skerritt, chased by a little Gary Freeman.
It appears that Francis Leota and Keith England, Great Britain reserve, are almost ready to come onto the park.
Played by Goodway, out to Edwards. Little kick from Sean Edwards again. He's managed to find a bit of a gap in the Kiwi defences. Kevin Ero, chased by O'Fire. Pumped straight into Ford Hume. Ball goes loose. Kiwis lucky they've got it back. Now Mercer.
Hold the ball, lads. Hold the ball. That's all they've got to do in their own 22 is control the ball.
Now Mann. Still 10 points to 6. It's a pretty tight test match. 9 minutes gone in the second half. Here comes by Marlow. Interesting to see who the Kiwis pull off, because it's Francis Leota is definitely warming up. Here's Sam Stewart. Keeps running all day. Set up the first try. Wants to play it quickly. 10 metres on the Kiwi side of halfway. Here comes the kick. That's a good kick too. It's going to go to land, but it bounces kindly for Tate. Good tackle by Williams with assistance from Bell.
DW got up and chopped it down straight away, which is what I said to you earlier, Grant. If the kick is a good one, it can only be judged from the chase.
Andy Goodway this time. Kiwi defence has been solid in the early stages. Here goes Edwards. Gives it to Platt. Good solid tackling again. McGann and Williams. Darryl Williams has done very, very well in the centres. There's another charge by McGann. And I reckon he was infringed there. Was knocked on by Ford anyway. But there was a player holding McGann back. So maybe justice was finally done.
Here it is. Great Britain are bringing on a substitute. Keith England is coming on for Great Britain. And Kelvin Skerritt is about to go off if the referee acknowledges it. No, he doesn't.
Kiwis clear it quickly. Across to Williams. Here comes Kemp. Wants to hang on to the ball. Tony Kemp sees a gap. Away he goes. Good run here. Still going. Well, he did it all on his own. Admittedly, just about where the scrum was.
Could have done with a bit of backup, a bit of support.
Now Stewart. Kiwis have the ball here, and away goes Kurt Sorensen. Uses that big fend that he has.
Well, he picked out Sean Edwards in the defensive line, and that's where he should be attacking all the time. Get the big men running at the small fellas.
Here's Kelly Shelford. Bit of room to move. Can be dangerous here. Flicked it up nicely to Faimalo. He's got a ton of pace. Faimalo.
Go on, Asini. Go on, lad.
Well tackled that time by Alan Tate.
Certainly a good run from Asini.
Here goes Dwayne Mann. Desperate defence from Great Britain on the last tackle.
Come on, lads. Get in there.
Now Freeman. Out to Kelly Shelford. Drills it in behind. O'Fire gets a hold of it. And the Kiwis have him over the goal line. It'll be a goal line. No, it won't. It's a penalty, I think.
Yeah, it's a penalty for dragging him over the line. He was tackled in the field of play, and the Kiwis pushed him over the line, so McCallum has given Great Britain a penalty.
Tense test match. And I think we're going to get our replacement players on the field now.
I think Yassini's coming off. It was a good ball from Gary Freeman. A big wide ball out to Kelly. Kelly put the ball through along on the ground. And it was a shame for the Kiwis. A good chase by Hugh McGann. And then Gary Mercer and Sammy Stewart coming in and giving away the penalty by pushing Martin O'Fire over the line. Francis Leota in.
This man's been one of the stars of the tour. He's played magnificently on occasions. Great Britain have a new man on as well in Keith England from Castleford. Faimalo is off, and so also is Skerritt. So I guess one coach saw the other coach making a change and thought, well, we'll go for it as well. So Great Britain have Lydon and England on now from their original team. Here is Joe Lydon, forced to go one way then the other. Still got a useful kick in. Down to Tony Kemp. He's recovered now from an injury. Oh, look at that. Phil Ford is just dispatched. Goodness gracious, what a great fend from Kemp. He's had a mighty game. Ball popped up, and the Kiwis have a penalty.
Penalty going around to play the ball. He's done him for. Joe Lydon, in his enthusiasm to get the ball back.
Phil Ford a bit embarrassed about what happened there. He went in and infringed. Had a referee had a word with him. But Tony Kemp just pushed him off. No trouble at all.
It was a good handoff by Tony. Poor tackle by Ford, but still a great handoff by Kemp.
Brent Todd. 5 metres on the Great Britain side of halfway. 10 points to 6, still the half-time score. 14 minutes in. Here's Sam Stewart. Leota running off him. Now Mann up to Shelford. Here's Darryl Williams.
Kiwis are controlling the ball a lot better. That's the third ball that they've had.
Francis Leota had to slow down there to take the ball. He's much better when he's running onto it. Now Dwayne Mann across to Bell.
Brent Todd is down in the back. He seems to have got a knock. He's certainly not taking any further part in this game.
Here's Gary Mercer into McGann. Stewart took it well and kicked it ahead. And Tate got lowered.
Good thinking by Sam Stewart. Good thinking. Excellent kick. Put Great Britain under pressure again. Second tackle.
Here's Goodway. So far hasn't been all that effective today. The Kiwis have shut him down quickly. Test very much in the balance here. Here comes England. New man on the field. just out from the quarter line in Great Britain territory. That's Paul Hume. Last tackle now on Great Britain, so they'll have to think of doing something here, but Paul Hume is a bit slow to get to his feet.
I think he's taking a bang.
Back now to Lydon. Now to Kemp. Kemp has made something just about every time. A solid charge again.
Certainly so casual in taking the ball, isn't he? He certainly doesn't panic. He lets the ball come to him rather than him chase the ball.
Oh, and Kelly Shelford's made a mistake. That's a bad error. Because now Great Britain have a chance. Kicked through nicely in the tackle by Shelford. Oh, full forwards away. Couldn't make the pass though. Now Gregory up to England. Testing time here for the Kiwis. They have to withstand this onslaught. Now Sean Edwards up to Roy Powell. Rather stumbled as he came to the tackler. Now Edwards looking for Lachlan. Solid defence by the Kiwis down the left wing side. 20 metres out from the Kiwi line. Here's Edwards again, all given a bit of room to move. Lobbed it up for David Hume. Little pass to Tate, and the tackle made. And the Kiwis back in possession through Gary Freeman.
Fortunate for the Kiwis that Great Britain has lost the ball. Now all they have to do is control the ball, get it down, maybe 3 or 4, then kick the living daylights out of the damn thing, get it back into the Great Britain's own 22.
Dean Bell takes it up to the quarter line. 10 points to 6. Coming up to halfway through the second half, about 17 minutes gone. Here's Leota. Now Todd, he seems to have recovered. Okay. Good run, Brent Todd. He's had an excellent game. Now the kick coming up. Kemp slid off the side of his boot. He was trying to angle it away from Alan Tate. Tate chased by Freeman. And the tackle completed by Stewart. Right in centre field. 15 metres on the Great Britain side of halfway. Edwards. Marvellous acceleration.
That guy Keith England, he only knows one way, and that's straight up the field, whether it's 5 yards, 20 yards, or 15 yards. He'll just run straight through.
Andy Platt will play it just on the Kiwi side of halfway. Back to David Hume. Edwards. No, not that time. Mann and Leota make the tackle. Last tackle it was too. Here's Lydon. Well taken, Gary Mercer. He'll have forward on. The forward makes the tackle this time. Or partial anyway. Here's Kemp. Now Mann, Todd.
First time Toddy's taken the ball for about 5 or 6 minutes. He certainly did pick up a bad knock 5 minutes ago.
Sammy Stewart just about at halfway. Now Freeman looking for Kurt Sorensen. Oh, that's a good tackle by Goodway. At least Platt it was. They read that very well. Now Kemp. Good kick sliding down towards the goal line. Now Alan Tate, chased by Dwayne Mann. Oh, he slipped his way through a couple before Kurt Sorensen knocked him over right on the quarter line. These two sides hammering away at each other. Nothing broken yet. We're halfway through the second spell. Here's England. It's a tough test match. Paul Hume. Edwards just got his pass away before McGann arrived on the scene. Now Edwards again. He'll kick. Got to watch the bounce here. O'Fire got a hold of it, and then he got rid of the ball.
He has penalised him for pushing Kevin Iro away from the ball. So David Hume has been penalised for infringing with...
Well, the Kiwis are a little bit slack there. They waited for O'Fire to arrive. Kiwis get the penalty. They're looking to get a new man on the field. I think they've got him on the field. That's Dean Clark. That was Kevin Iro you were looking at. Kelly Shelford has gone. Here's Francis Leota. That's a typical run from Leota. Now Mann looks for Stewart. Kiwis have got a couple of replacement players on now, Leota and Clark. And Great Britain get the put in. Referee ruling that Stewart lost the ball in the tackle. There is Dean Clark. He's on at standoff to replace Kelly Shelford.
His first international cap as well, isn't it?
That's right, yes. David Hume made a little run there. So Great Britain in possession. Gregory. Paul Hume out to Edwards.
Goodway, the Kiwi defence was certainly lining up to tackle Andy Goodway.
There's Keith England, number 14, one of two replacement players on for Great Britain. Remember, both sides have replacements on now. Here's Edwards, another kick coming up. Again, Kemp rather gliding across to get a hold of it. And away he goes on another one of these searching little runs, which this time find him down on the ground about 20 metres out. Clark now gets a hold of the ball. Dwayne Mann. Got a little run from Mann, who's back to something like his first test form. Didn't really show up at all in the second test. Mind you, not too many of the Kiwis did. Here's Sam Stewart. 10 points to 6. No change since half-time. 17 minutes left in this game. Now Mann to Freeman. Long one across to McGann. McGann gave it away to Darryl Williams. Now the Kiwis have a chance. Here's Freeman. Freeman in the clear. Looking for Mercer. Finds Leota. Leota releases the ball. Kiwis still have it. Here's Mercer again. Pops it up. And Freeman is taken. Well, the Kiwis desperately trying to keep it alive. It's the last tackle.
It was a great run from the lads. They managed to string 6 or 7 passes together. And they managed to go the length of the park. Hopefully they can finish off on this.
O'Fire takes it. And this time they've got him back over the line, have they? No, not quite.
No. It's a great take, a great kick.
Kiwis desperately trying to drive them back over the line. That'll mean a goal line dropout. Great Britain really penned here. There goes O'Fire again. He's off across field, which may not be a great idea. Well, goodness gracious.
All they had to do was make the tackle. The lad would have been back inside his own goal line area and it would have been a dropout.
Plus, he could have lost the ball, anything, couldn't he, in that situation?
It's a shame he didn't.
So Great Britain now. Last tackle. So stand by for the kick of some sort. They'll be looking to try and angle it away from Tony Kemp. Kemp closing, just on his own side of halfway. Boy, he's had a good game, hasn't he? Away he goes again. Edwards after him and finally makes the tackle. Plays it quickly. Freeman. McGann is there.
That handoff of Tony Kemp's is lethal.
Now Mann up to Freeman. Stewart. Good run from Stewart. Finds Dwayne Mann in support. Can't release it. So Clark. Freeman again. Clark having a run. Got through. Still standing in the tackle.
More important, he's still got the ball.
So Leota. Now Freeman. Kurt Sorensen charging straight ahead.
Last tackle. Are they going to run it or are they going to bomb it?
Freeman pushes it out to the left. Kiwis have it. McGann. Freeman couldn't get it. Still alive. Here's a chance. Williams. No, come back. No try. Mercer went in, but it was knocked forward.
Knocked forward by who? Knocked forward by who? It appeared to me as though Great Britain knocked the ball forward. New Zealand got it back. The kick has gone up. No, that's come off Tate. That's rubbish. That's rubbish. That was a try. It come off Tate. The Kiwis weren't lucky.
So they're going to settle down now and just go for it again. Mike Gregory has it. Great Britain still hold the slender 4-point lead. Kiwis have been hammering away. About 13 minutes left in the game. Here's Edwards. Ball lost, knocked away. Kiwis have it. Francis Leota.
Go on, Francis Leota. Kiwis have got the ball, but they've got someone down.
A few casualties. Darryl Williams.
Darryl Williams down over there, lying on the ground. Darryl hasn't moved at all for the last 2 or 3 minutes. Don't know where the Zambuk is.
Sorensen changes the direction. Now Freeman. Out to Clark. Plays it quickly to Freeman, up to Sam Stewart. Stewart with a bit of room to move. Got it away to McGann. Pops it away to Mercer. And Mercer just can't keep in the field of play. Needed another one inside. And maybe if Darryl Williams had been fit, but he's not at the moment. He's quite away from the field of play. Gary Mercer decided to hang on rather than risk losing the possession, although Great Britain will get the put in anyway.
Great ball from Sammy to Hugh McGann. Hugh McGann again to Gary Mercer, but unfortunately for the Kiwis, again that inside pass wasn't there because there was no support.
So Great Britain have it again. Now Edwards away to his captain Mike Gregory. Williams is still limping, but at least he's back on his feet, and ball lost again. And I think the Kiwis have it. No, not knocked on, but the Kiwis will get the scrum put in anyway.
Or will they?
Yeah, will they? Well, maybe they won't.
Yeah, I think he's given it to the Kiwis. The Kiwis need to score here. There's probably 11 minutes of the game to go, and they need to score. First of all, they've got to control the ball for 6 tackles. If they can score within the 6, then fine. But they've got to hold on to the ball.
There's Clark up to Freeman. Freeman into the gap. Can't offload. Looked like a well-practiced move. Here's Clark.
That's 2 tackles they've had.
So now Mann up to Freeman. Here's Todd. Great Britain now desperately defending. Mann again. That's a rather wasted one from the Kiwis' point of view.
That's 4 tackles they've had, and they haven't moved 10 yards at all.
Here comes Francis Leota. He's sure to make ground, always does.
They're on the last tackle. They could have certainly have done with a run like that 3 tackles ago.
Here's Freeman. Oh, the kick is taken this time. And away goes Tate. Kick and chase. Dean Bell and Phil Ford. And a penalty against the Kiwis.
I think the Kiwis are fortunate. I think the Kiwis are very fortunate. It was well thought out by David Hume, a good kick and a good chase. Phil Ford obviously was getting the legs on Dean Bell, and Dean Bell took him out of the game. I think if Dean Bell doesn't get 10 minutes for a professional foul, fortunately for the Kiwis, he doesn't. But I think Great Britain will certainly have cause to be disappointed.
So Great Britain back in the field, part of the ground they wanted to be, with just 9 minutes left in the game. Got the pass away, but it was forward.
Good defence by the Kiwis. Good defence. They need the ball back down this other end. Down in Great Britain's territory, they're going to get the ball down there as quick as they possibly can.
Freeman feeds the scrum. Kiwis take it out. Up to Kemp. Crowd really roaring for Great Britain. Freeman now. Up to Clark. Here goes Dean Bell.
It's a third.
Now man, Todd. Running out of tackles here. They're going to have to get rid of it shortly. Sorensen. So, last tackle. Looks like Kemp will make the kick. O'Fire and Tate together. Here's Tate. Right on halfway. Lachlan. 8 minutes left in the game. 10 points to 6. No score at all in the second half. Here's Goodway. Been a real thriller, this one. Great Britain leading by 2 tries to 1. Andy Platt making the run. Great Britain just running their 6 out here. Edwards. Got a room to move. Ran into the brick wall.
Stop. You'll go no further. Good tackle by Dwayne Mann.
Back to Lydon with a drop kick. Partially charged. Kiwis have it. And here's Dean Clark. Away goes Clark. Chased and finally caught by Sean Edwards. There was no other Kiwi there, which is not really surprising because the ball was charged. Now Freeman. Here's McGann. Bit of room for Kurt Sorensen. To Williams. Dean Bell. Bell is held 15 metres out from the quarter line. Now Williams away to Freeman again. Sam Stewart looking for some sort of support. It wasn't there though.
It's a shame the ball, he made the ball available, but it's a shame the backup wasn't there.
Leota away to Freeman. Sorensen again. Trying to battle his way through. Almost got it away to Kevin Hero. Man away to Freeman. This will be a long pass. There's nobody there to take it. Dropped it away to Brent Todd. Here's Tony Kemp. He lifts it into the air. Not a bad kick either. Kiwis coming in. Hooked away. And unfortunately for the Kiwis, it fell for Andy Platt. Good way taken. 6 minutes left. One mistake would be enough. Great Britain, I'm sure, are conscious of that. Kiwis are going to go for it now. They're the ones behind.
They certainly are, Grunt. I think it doesn't need us to tell them.
Sean Edwards. Last tackle. Kiwis again have Great Britain pinned. They'll look for Lydon, who's kicked pretty well since he's arrived. He's kicked it away down to Kemp again. Sits up nicely for Tony Kemp. Wasn't able to get past Lachlan that time. Out to Hero. Has to get in the game somehow. Man. Up to Todd. Todd releases it to Stewart this time. A long one across to Mercer. And let's have a look.
The referee's pulled it back. Forward pass.
Forward pass. So Great Britain get the put into the scrum. Let's look at the clock. About 4 minutes left now. Kiwis need the ball, obviously. David Hume. 10 points to 6 to Great Britain. And knocked on. Knocked on by Andy Goodway. Oh, no, in fact, it's Andy Platt. So this might be the last opportunity for the Kiwis. They get the scrum put in here. They have to work something. Not a bad position. It's near halfway.
I think they're going to throw caution to the wind now, Grant, and start throwing the ball about. They are behind. They need to throw the ball about and start backing up, and they've got the ability to score.
So Darryl Williams up to Dean Bell.
All they're worrying about at the moment is one-man charges, but that is no damn good to them at this stage. They're 4 points behind. They've got to start stringing some passes together.
There's Francis Leota. Again, he can't offload. 5 metres on the Great Britain side of halfway. Not played properly. I think that was a fair ruling by McCallum, referee McCallum.
I think it's right. I mean, when you're looking at this is the elite level of rugby league football, and if you can't play the basic, the simple thing of rugby league is playing the ball. If you can't do that, then you're in trouble.
So Paul Hume now takes it up. Great Britain will be desperate to hang on to it for 6 here. David Hume up to England. England again. Andy Platt working themselves into a good position here, Great Britain. Here's Goodway. Gets away from McGann. Tackles are finally made, though. 10 points to 6, about 3 minutes left in the game.
I think they certainly won't do, as far as Great Britain is concerned, they certainly won't do their hopes any bad luck if they take a drop kick.
Here it comes. Darryl Williams fields it well, and he's just in the field of play. Here's Kemp.
You wouldn't believe it. They've just given the man of the match award to Martin O'Vire.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. 80 minutes of slog that the forwards have put in, and the man of the match goes to the wingman.
Hero releases it up to Freeman. Sorensen. Hero has it again. Great Britain still making their tackles.
They're in the last minute.
So Freeman away to Clark. Dean Clark doing his best to struggle away. It's the last tackle. Kiwis have to come up with something here. The crowd screaming their lungs out. Freeman. Back to Freeman again. Can't make the pass, can't get it away. Held on. It'll be a handover. Or will it? It is a handover.
It is a handover, yes. It's final tackle. And there must be about 30 seconds of the match to go. So Great Britain only have to take the ball in for 6. And the game is theirs. The series is theirs.
Great Britain haven't won a series in Great Britain for about 20 years. The crowd wants to hear the hooter. David Hume. They'll be well conscious of not making any mistakes here. England.
That's a 40.
Great Britain have done it. In a slogging second half. 10 points to 6 it was at half time.
Martin O'Vire and Sean Edwards is certainly wrapped. Considering it is the first series that Great Britain have won over here since the 60s, and Martin O'Vire being the man of the match, being selected the man of the match, certainly are elated with their performance. Mike Gregory, the Warrington captain, against Sean Edwards and Martin O'Vire.
So Sean Edwards, he looks pretty happy, doesn't he? And good reason to be too. Great Britain took a pounding in the first test, but they came back to win the second and have won the third. They got away to a 10-0 lead after no time at all. Kiwis fought back, and what a slog that second half was.
It was always going to be a hard battle, Grant. Both sides, both camps knew how important this game was, and it was which side was going to make the most mistakes. Unfortunately for the Kiwis, looking at the stat sheet, it must have come close to them making more mistakes than Great Britain. They certainly couldn't control the ball as long as Tony Gordon would have liked them to have done, and the play went Great Britain's way.
So here's the Victoria skipper, Mike Gregory.
He certainly deserves that, Grant. I know Mike, I was captain when he was at Warrington, then he was captain when I was at Warrington. He certainly worked hard. He is a good professional, and he's done a lot of work, and he deserves the honours that he has picked up. Andy Platt, what's he with number 3 jersey on? Obviously, he's done a deal with Dean Bell, but they have worked well in winning the second test. Great Britain certainly performed very, very well, and unfortunately for New Zealand, the series is lost on this Wigan pitch with a score of 10 points to 6.
There's the skipper, at least the referee, Greg McCullum. We're hoping we can have a word with Hugh McGann, if we can just point him somewhere near one of our cameras before we leave. But those are the statistics of the game. 10 points to 6. O'Fire and Tate scoring tries, and 1 goal kicked by Paul Lachlan. And for the Kiwis, Kelly Shelford, the try, and he converted it as well. 10 points to 6. That was the extent of the scoring. Well, we almost got to the stage where we've been in the last 2 series here, where it's been drawn, as Mike Gregory takes his side off on a victory lap. Still trying to see if we can get Hugh McGann. Philip Smith is down on the field. Just a question of finding the camera we can point him at.
Martin O'Fire with the Ashes. He certainly has been fortunate in being selected man of the match. He certainly has had a good series, Martin O'Fire. He's been thereabouts. He's always been a danger. He has always been a threat, right from the first test where he scored that 60-yarder or 50-yard try, and finally taking away the man of the match award.
So Great Britain are victorious in the third and deciding test match by 10 points to 6. The Kiwis now move on to France, and they have a couple of test matches to play over there, but this really was the big one. This was the one they wanted. They had pointed themselves at this since that debacle at Alland Road a couple of weeks ago.
The Great Britain crowd will be happy about their performance. They will certainly be elated. They've been looking for a rejuvenated Great Britain side anyway to sing on the swan song. They've managed to achieve that honour. With the Australians coming over at the end of next season, they will certainly have to improve their performance. But Andy Platt and both Martin O'Fire, Andy Platt, I thought right throughout the whole series, has worked very well. He started off in the first test in the second row, and then was moved up into the front row position at number 10. He has certainly deserved to work well. Well, he has worked well.
Okay, I think we can go now down to the ground, and Philip Smith has the Kiwi skipper, Hugh McGann.
Well, Hugh McGann, it was a tough, close test match, but a disappointing result.
Well, that's obvious. It's 2-1 down after a 1-0 lead after the first game. It was very disappointing coming away. With the series lost, we go to France with everything under our belt at the moment, except for the series win. And it's been well, I won't say a bad year for us, but extremely disappointing year with the home series against Australia and now the away series against Great Britain. But certainly we'll have something to look forward to next year when Great Britain tour New Zealand.
It was real do-or-die stuff in the last minutes there.
Yeah, we had to play catch-up football. We hadn't had much success taking them on up the centre through the game, so we had to look to go wider, which meant we had to throw the ball around and panic pass and as I said, play catch-up football. It didn't work for us. We had opportunities to score, but didn't make the most of those opportunities. It's very hard. We've gone through the series so far just about winning games and coming away with the loss. There's a lot of work to do, really.
But there's some fine young players here in the Kiwi team coming through now.
Oh, no doubt about it. And by the time 4 years comes around, you'll see a lot of these faces back here again, and hopefully with a better result. But as I said, we've got next year's series against Great Britain back in New Zealand to look forward to.
Hugh McGann, thank you very much.
So that's Hugh McGann, the Kiwi skipper, humble in defeat and a good sportsman indeed. But the Kiwis beaten here at Wigan this afternoon by 10 points to 6. Great Britain win the series 2-1. On behalf of Kevin Tamati, this is Grant Nisbet from Central Park in Wigan.